Alright, now that we've cleaned all the carbon gunk and crud off of this bolt, it's time to put it back together. Now, like most people, we're not oiling nothing, okay? Leave it dry. Dry off all the solvents, fluid, everything, leave it dry. Dry as a bone. You pick this up this way, and looking on it, okay, you know you're ejecting to the right, so you want the extractor and the bolt face to be going that way. Extractor that way. Line that up to where that hole down in there is lined up. Take your T-block, whatever that's called. You can go look on a video on how to really do this correctly somewhere else. I'm not going to get into the correct assembly, but and you rotate it to its position to allow the firing pin to travel where it should, like that. Take your firing pin. All of this inside's been cleaned. The firing pin's been cleaned spotless. Okay, and like I said, the reason you leave it dry at this point, okay, we're going to try something a little different here. I'm going to try doing a dry lubricant on this bolt, but now that I've gotten it to where, let me line that up. Alright, this is lined up, down in there. Firing pin is where it should be. We're in the rearward locked position. And then you put your cotter pin in the hole here. You lock it in, and there we go. Alright, cleaned, carbon free, and dry. No oil, no nothing on it. Just set this, and now we're going to set this aside and go into cleaning the chamber and the inside of the upper receiver. Okay, now we're going to start with the upper receiver. Now this gun, I told you, is pretty much a mess. It's kind of hard for me to get in there. But what we're going to do before we start with before the barrel or chamber area, we're going to try to wipe that buildup of crud on the inside of that upper receiver. You see all of this stuff, and it's kind of hard to get in there, but where you could go with your finger up here, you try to wipe most of it out. And I'm just using a 12 gauge patch. Now to get down where the operating handle goes, you put the patch in there and take a screwdriver, fold the patch up, and run that up that channel, and that gets most of the stuff. Now when it comes to that little tube, this is where it's going to get tricky. Okay, you got to try to wipe that tube off. Let's get this out. And you see all the crud that's coming out of there? Well, that tube in there, where's my flashlight? Okay, now we want to get to that tube in there, but that's while I'm looking, I didn't quite get a lot of that crap out of there. So I'm going to go with a screwdriver or a hook tool and try to get the crud, as much crud out of there as I can. But the tube, you probably would just take that patch, push it over it with the screwdriver down on there, and try to just pull that, work it around, and try to get as much stuff off as you can. Basically that's what you're doing, which some of it came off. Doesn't look too terrible. But that's what that is. That tools, or the little hook tool, this here is another thing. And get into that little indentation with this tool. and wipe all the crap out. Also get around that tube again. Try to get all that, get underneath it. Work the patch around underneath the tube to where you can try to wipe the stuff off as best you can. As you can see down in there, that's what I'm doing, trying to get that tube cleaned and that other stuff. So you try to wipe the crud out the best that you can using tools like that. And you see all the stuff that's coming out of there. That's what's gumming his bolt up. You got to try to get this all cleaned out and free of carbon and dirt and oil or whatever is in there. So I'm going to do that for a bit before we get into cleaning the chamber area. Okay, so I've got most of the crud cleaned out of the upper receiver. And up and through here, did a pretty good job as I could of getting most of the junk off of that gas tube. Now comes this critical area of the chamber area where I'm pointing there. That's the next thing that's got to be cleaned, and that is important to clean that, and it is difficult to get in there and get all the crap out of there because it's just a hard to reach place. But it is an important part of getting it clean or the gun ain't going to function well. So let's move on to that step next. Okay, for those of you who have ever wondered what the hell this brush is that comes with an AR-15 cleaning kit, this is your chamber cleaning brush. It cleans the chamber, and that big collar cleans the area where you lock up. I'm not quite sure of the correct nomenclature. I deal with so many different guns, I can't remember everything, so bear with me, folks. So, you stick that in there, and I got this on a cleaning rod with a permanent handle, and you go up inside there, and you just rotate it. I don't know if you can see it. You just rotate it. It doesn't go through the bore. You rotate it one way or the other. You got to get that carbon and that black crap that's built up inside there out, or your bolt will lock up eventually. And I can tell from this gun, this has not been done in a while. And the last time I did it, about 6-7 months ago, I really didn't have time to take my time and do it correctly. Okay. Then once you get that in there, like that, you can take the cloth, it's a 12 gauge, and I just stuff it in that area there to absorb, and then kind of try to rotate it around with the hook as best I can. Now there are products, they have devices you can go and clean this out. There is something designed, I've never used it. Okay, usually with me, I keep my guns clean. I don't get horrible buildup inside there like this, to where that stuff will not come out that easy. If you keep up with it, and you know, like I said, clean your gun every time you shoot it, this buildup will not get to where, you know, it's a problem. And bits of carbon and stuff. I'm going to examine that with a flashlight and see what I can get, but this is a pain to clean. If you keep up with it, it should be alright. Okay. I think it is chrome lined in there. So that stuff should come off easy. It's when it's not chrome lined that it builds up and bakes on. Okay, after several repeated brushings, scrubbings, whatever, I kind of got that to where that chamber area looks nice and clean and shiny. So that's done. So now, what I'm going to do to finish it off is I'm going to go and clean the bore out, make sure I got it done. You just do that normally. I'm going to take a larger patch and wipe out the chamber area, not the locking lug area, the chamber. I'll wipe that. And then I'm just going to run a patch through, clean the bore, and then we'll be ready to reassemble this gun. It's pretty basic, simple stuff from now on. Okay, so we've cleaned out the inside of the upper, cleaned out the locking lug area, brushed up the chamber, cleaned the bore out. We're all ready to go. Now we have our bolt all decarbonized and cleaned, and I put absolutely no lubrication whatsoever on it. Hopefully that'll, because I know they're going to probably spray oil on it or something anyway. So what you do is a trick, but I can't find it, is you get graphite powder. How you'd use a dry lubricant is graphite powder. It's an old trick since the guys in the military realized we were saddled with this gun. The best thing to do is, it's the stuff you'd put in a lock or something. It's just a black powder. Just get a little on your finger, rub it on the outside of the bolt carrier a little bit here, and that graphite powder should be sufficient enough. There may be another product. I don't keep up with a lot of the products out there now, but like I said, I clean my guns every time I shoot them, and I don't run into the problems or the buildup to the severity that this gun had. And then we're just going to reassemble it like you do with standard AR. You know, like I said, this gun is quality. You know, there ain't no BSing on that. Get this. Get it back together. And I mean, she should be good to go for another 6-7 months until I get another call again. Hey Mike, can you fix my gun up for me? So that's it. If you kind of follow these steps, you know, one way or the other, that's basically how you solve a lot of your AR problems, is through disassembling and cleaning it thoroughly. Now he'll go out and put another 1,500 rounds to this gun the next 6-7 months, call me up, have me do this all over again. But I hope that helps some of you guys out there, helps you with your AR-15s, get them running a little bit better.